welcome or welcome back for those of you who've been in our room. I'm excited to announce our next presentation. This is by Lindsey Pelly, who worked on a project with her advisor, Dr. Kathleen Wilburn, and the title of this project is Produced by Social Media Influencer, a study of the impact of social media influencers have on music festivals. And Lindsey has submitted a video, so I will play that now before turning things over to Dr. Wilburn to say a few words, and then to Lindsey herself to take our questions. If you do have questions during the presentation, if you could enter them in the chat, and we'll address them in the Q&A. Thank you so much, and thank you, Lindsey.
Last semester, I had a great opportunity to intern at C3 Presents. C3 Presents is the mastermind behind some of the most beloved music festivals in the world, including Lollapalooza in Chicago and International, Voodoo Music and Arts Festival, Austin City Limits, and many more. I became fascinated with all the components that went into creating the music festival, and this especially came to light when I worked behind the scenes at Austin City Limits 2019. One area I became really intrigued by was the fashion of all the attendees, both young and old. Many people had a specific festival fashion look that they were rocking. This got me thinking, what inspires these looks? Is it the infamous Coachella? But then who inspires Coachella looks? Diving into the subject more, I found these looks across my social media platforms, specifically Instagram, from social media influencers I follow. They must have a connection, I thought. This sparked the topic of the paper I will be presenting on the interplay social media influencers have on music festivals. My name is Lindsey Pelly. I'm excited to share my findings of two topics I find fascinating. I've been a music lover forever, it seems, which of course is the music festival side, but as a marketing student, social media influencers sparked my interest as well. This project allowed me to research both. Today I will start with an overview of social media influencers, then I'll go into an overview of music festivals, my interview with Dr. Summer Capitan about consumer behavior, the Fire Festival, the connection between influencers and music festivals, further research, and finally questions. First, we are going to start with the background of social media influencers. Endorsing products is not a new concept. It has been around for centuries. Those endorsing products and services already had influence over people as they were famous or in a position of power. Other than celebrities or people in power, influencers were created by companies. For example, in 1890, Nancy Green was hired by R.T. Davis Milling Company as the face of the pancake mix. We know her today as Aunt Jemima. These types of characters have popped up in advertising since then. As consumers, we have been introduced to a variety of characters, including the Marlboro Man, Old Spice Man, and even fictional characters like Tony the Tiger. These characters are created to depict a symbol or feeling around the product they are endorsing. The Marlboro Man, for instance, was an icon that portrayed being macho, which created the illusion that smoking Marlboro cigarettes was trendy and masculine. This trend is still around today, but with the birth of social media, advertising changed. Social media sites are a place where users can share photos, their thoughts, spark conversation on various topics, as well as meet people they have never met in person. This created networks and subgroups on a variety of topics. Some users began gaining popularity on their content they are posting about. These people shared their thoughts on the products, companies, and services. They began influencing their followers to have new ideas or want to try new items. This is where the modern-day social media influencer was born. A key component that differentiates brand-created endorsers and social media influencers is that social media influencers are able to create their own content. They have full creative control of their content. They choose to endorse a product, which makes them more believable for their viewers. Marketers found this authenticity to be extremely valuable, so they began sending products and services to those large following on social media and blogging sites where the creator was able to review and share with their followers. When it comes to size in social media influencer marketing, it does matter. The social media influencers differ based on following count. We have mega, macro, micro, and nano. It may seem as if the only differentiator between the groups is the amount of followers they have, but when it comes to the lucrative world of influencer marketing, knowing the difference is essential. Mega influencers typically have more than 1 million followers. They are the highest ranked of social media influencers. They have a diverse range of following with different topics of interest. Mega influencers tend to be A-list or B-list celebrity. Because of the interests of their followers differ, the converting power of a post can be small. Mega influencers are used for marketing campaigns that promote products that appeal to the masses. Macro influencers are the next level down from mega influencers. Their following falls between 100,000 to 1 million followers. Many macro influencers gained fame through the internet by producing specific content. Macro influencers are great for brands wanting to reach a broad demographic. Leveraging macro influencers can be cheaper and create more conversions than a mega influencer. Next, we have micro influencers. These influencers have a following between 1,000 to 100,000, which is a pretty big range. But micro-influencers focus on a specific niche and are considered an expert or a specialist on a specific topic. Their following contains a large population of those interested in the same topic. Micro-influencers are seen as giving brands the best bang for their buck. This is because they cost far less than both mega and micro-influencers, but they also have a high conversion rate. Nano-influencers are at the bottom of the influencer chain. Although they do offer brands some value, nano-influencers have smaller following, around 1,000 followers. They usually have influence in their community or a local neighborhood. Small companies or local businesses utilize nano-influencers to reach the community. The engagement between nano-influencers and their following is the highest among the influencers. Nano-influencers bring the highest level of authenticity to their followers, and they have a real lifelike relationship with the people following them. Leveraging the right type of social media influencer can be a powerful tool for companies. According to Forbes' article in 2018, millennials hate ads, but 58% of them wouldn't mind if it was coming from their digital star. Because millennials make up 25% of the population and their spending is upwards of $200 billion yearly, this is important information. With this large population of buying habits, marketers have found millennials to be the hardest to market to. According to a recent study conducted by the McCarthy Group, 84% of millennials stated that they did not like traditional marketing, and what's more, they didn't trust it. Millennials, however, will view advertisement that support their favorite social media stars. This information has changed the ways companies market products, and influencer marketing is not a new concept, but the birth of social media, it became an essential tool for successful companies. In the same way that social media has grown, so has music festivals. Music festivals have become very popular among all age groups, but specifically millennials. Music festivals have been around since 10th century BC. They were first used as events to share artistic works, including music, poetry, and plays. The first modern-day style music festival came about during the hippie movement with, of course, Woodstock in 1969, the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967, and the first Newport Folk Festival in 1965. They became popular through the 70s and 80s and began popping up all over the world. In the late 1990s, with new genres and artists, more modern-style festivals like we see today began, including Coachella, Lollapalooza, and Vans Warped Tour. Currently, there are 800 music festivals ranging in genres across the U.S. 32 million people go to at least one music festival every year, according to Billboard. And the music festival industry is projected to increase to more than $20 billion in revenue by the early 2020s. Music festivals affect many industries, and from retail to patterns of tourism. I had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Summer Capitan. She works at the University of Auckland in New Zealand, although she did do her undergrad in San Antonio and has experienced ACL and South by for herself. Not only is she a music lover, but she also has a PhD in marketing with an emphasis in consumer behavior. Her expertise in consumer behavior added a whole other element to the mix I had not researched: brands. When it comes to an event, we are sure to see brands because they are sponsoring the event. We see this at music festivals. Brands sponsor not only booths but also the stages. The importance of the brands connecting themselves with an event creates an impact on customers. Connecting a good memory, like a music festival, to a brand creates a loyal customer because that brand becomes the good time they had at the festival. Dr. Capitan shared that the golden rule she has for brands is if you associate with someone's identity or their aspirational identity, then you will have their loyalty. This ties also into the role of nostalgia. Getting into the hearts and minds of consumers when they are young will carry with them throughout their lives. So they may not be the target audience now, but they will in the future. This has been augmented by the rise of social media influencers. They are homegrown endorsers, which means they have control of what they promote. They add the important element of authenticity. This authenticity is what brands are looking for to gain loyal customers. So as a consumer behavior expert, this is what Summer Capitan had to share about her experience with not only music festivals, but also social media influencers. What I was missing was brands. So moving into the Fire Festival, of course the use of social media was essential and the only good part about the Fire Festival. For those who don't know, the Fire Festival was a fraudulent luxury music festival founded by Billy McFarland and Ja Rule, the rapper. The intent of the music festival was to promote their app Fire. Although lack of funds, space, and time created a disaster and a complete failure of a festival. Although the festival failed, it was a major marketing win. Only 4 months before the festival, the marketing began. 400 influencers, which included models and celebrities, were hired to promote the event. Of those were Kendall Jenner, who was paid $250,000 for a single post about the Fire Festival. The picture posted on the pages of these 400 influencers was a single orange square with the caption, #FireFestival. This created a large buzz and everyone wanted to be in the know. It was a complete thumb stopper. And of course, the festival sold out. This festival marketing showed the power influencers have and became important for marketers to know influencer marketing works and it is completely relevant. What is the connection between social media influencers and music festivals? Well, I missed a key component, brands. Brands, music festivals, and social media influencers work in unison to create benefits for each party. Social media influencers need brands to get paid, and they need music festivals to show off brands and create content. Music festivals need social media influencers to create buzz on their platforms and bring in consumers and get those tickets sold. They also need brands for sponsorship and funds to create the festival, as they are billions of dollars. Brands need social media influencers to promote and endorse brands to their followers, and music festivals to share themselves with consumers, putting a face to the brand. These three elements create not only a successful social media influencer, but also a successful music festival and successful brands. Here are some examples of social media influencers and brands working together at music festivals. First, we see Vanessa Hudgens. She is known as the Queen of Coachella. She is a mega influencer and also an A-list celebrity. She is sharing her experience at Coachella, where she is using the Amazon lockers with not only a picture of her using the Amazon lockers, but also a caption stating what she's doing and why it is so beneficial to her. Next, we see Olivia Rory, who is also a mega influencer, although she just reached 1 million followers, so she is kind of on the realm of macro and mega. But she is here at ACL Festival, where she is tagged the festival, as well as SiriusXM, who is the brand she is with. She is there to sponsor SiriusXM's partner and SiriusXM students. You can see not only has she posted a picture, but also has a caption explaining. Next, we have Coco, A Taste of Coco, who is a macro influencer, and she is sharing her experience with the contact lens brand Oculve, where she was at South by Southwest and they sponsored her. You can see not only the picture but also the copy that she has. Next, we have Natalie here, who's at Pitchfork in 2019, and she is promoting the festival. She is nano influencer. If I were to do this research again, of course, I would have interviewed more experts. This includes influencers, companies using influencers, as well as music festival marketers. I would have done a questionnaire at music festivals, a questionnaire on social media platforms to gather more information. So the takeaways from this research, of course, brands should continue using social media influencers. They are vital in creating brand loyalty, and they are extremely beneficial, and they create a lot of ROI. Influencer endorsements are essential for authenticity. Authenticity is what makes a brand valuable, what creates a loyal customer. And consumers stay loyal to those good memory brands. So, like my interview with Summer Capitan, putting the event, the good time at the event with the brand creates loyal customers. So brands should attend music festivals, they should attend events, they should always sponsor events because they will create that good memory in those customers, and their consumers will continue to be loyal. And they should also leverage social media influencers at festivals, as we find that not only do they bring more consumers into the festival, but they also create buzz around the brand they are endorsing. Thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate it. I will be now switching to live to ask if there are any questions.
Lindsey, thank you so much. That was fascinating. Before we have questions come in, I'm going to turn things over really quickly to your advisor to say a little bit about getting to work with you.
Great.
And let me.
Professor Wilbur, you're on
I learned so much because I had no idea what an influencer was. I'd seen the term, I didn't know what they did, and not being real close with the millennial generation, I kind of knew they didn't look at advertising the way I do, but this was a whole new experience for me that I'll be able to use in my business classes. So I really enjoyed getting through the research with Lindsey and the job she did. I thought she did an excellent presentation and excellent research, and of course came up with other areas that she wants to continue to research, which is always a good idea.
Thank you. And this is normally when Dr. Wilburn would get to give Lindsey her stole for honors. Unfortunately, she can't do that today, but Lindsey, it is in the mail. So I hope that if you didn't get it today, you'll get it very soon. We'll get to celebrate. And if anyone has questions, if you could enter them in the chat while we wait for people to do that, I'm going to sneak in, if I may, and ask the first question, which I'm wondering, Lindsey, I know this is all really sudden and wouldn't have been part of the original scope of your research, but I'm wondering, as just an expert in the field, if you have thoughts about how brands will be affected by COVID and the fact that there's obviously still influencers, but for the next several months, there probably won't be big music festivals. Do you think that will have a big impact on the way these brands advertise?
So I follow a lot of music festivals actually, and I think they've done a really good job with kind of keeping everybody in the loop on what's going on with the music festivals. Like I said in my presentation, there's 800 across the US, so there are a lot, but Coachella ran a campaign. It was called Couchella, and they actually played previous like sets and stuff like that, so people were still able to go and like have that festival feel, and influencers are still endorsing products, and they're still showing that they are participating in Coachella or Coachella. So I think they'll definitely be affected in the fact that they probably won't reach that $20 billion like I had said. But I do think that they're doing a really good job in continuing to make sure that people are having that experience.
Thanks. That's all really fascinating. You have several questions. We probably have time for two. Um, you can see them, I believe. So there
Yeah.
are yours to choose from, but some I'm seeing are, do you see anything about ethics about people being paid to promote? What was most beneficial about working at ACL? What did you find most surprising?
Okay, so I can go through them quickly. What was the most surprising part of my research? I really liked talking to Dr. Summer Capitan. She is incredible, and she knows a lot about consumer behavior. She has a doctorate in consumer behavior. She could tell you what you're going to buy before you even think about buying it. So I think that was really fascinating to learn about the connection that actually goes on in your brain when you have a good time somewhere and you see a brand and you link them together. This like thing that you don't even think of happens in your brain, and you will always associate that good time with that product. So that's probably the most interesting. All right, for the ethics, it's funny that I'm actually doing another project in another class that has to do with ethics, with influencers being paid. One thing I do know from hearing from influencers, a lot of them will only promote products that they actually like are going to use. They don't want to harm anybody. With the Fire Festival, there was this up in the air where the influencers, you know, should they be blamed for putting this on or first like promoting this when they weren't in the know of like the festival being a failure. So I think that there can be issues if someone's getting paid a lot of money for. Personally, I don't really trust like A-list celebrities or like these big like mega influencers, just because they're not as authentic. That's why that like micro influencer is like that perfect authentic type of influencer who you feel like you almost know them, but they're not too powerful to, you know, feel like they're getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars for one product. So I do think ethics is involved, but I do think it's up to the discretion of the social media influencer to either go into that or not. And the most beneficial experience you had working with ACL, oh my gosh, ACL was insane. But the most beneficial, I think, was just seeing all the behind the scenes. You don't realize how much goes into a festival until you're behind the scenes and you see all the people working on the stages. The teardown of the festival is crazy. It happens in a whole week for ACL, and there's only like 6 stages at ACL, so I couldn't imagine something like Coachella. But I had a lot of really cool experiences. I got to meet Guns N' Roses, Billie Eilish, a bunch of cool people. So that was really exciting.